Hello, everybody. Welcome and welcome back to the Conscious Spirit Podcast. Y'all know probably I'm Mari-Lyn. Marci is with me today.
Hello, everybody.
Really excited that you have come on to talk with me. Marci is not brand new, but this is um, your first appearance
It is.
on the podcast on either channel.
Yep.
She's joined us here at TCS, and we are both Pam and I really, really grateful to have you. But you're not new to us. You've been around with us for a while now.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I looked at when I first started the healing journey, and that was August of 2022. So it's a little over 2 years.
Yeah,
That and then I just joined the TCS group in November. So yeah,
yeah,
it's been quite a ride for the
quite a
last.
ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Started with you, of course, as you know, we started our classes together, and then I moved over to Pam, I want to say July of last year. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I've
Yeah.
had both you and Pam. I'm lucky to have both you and
Thank
yeah,
you.
yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So we, of course, we got online and we're talking, and we really, like Pam and I do often, we don't have anything really specific topic wise other than Marci.
Yeah, yeah, you and me.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I know through the years of doing this that our audience really does like to get to know us. Uh, Pam's and my honesty and our transparency, we have gotten some of the best support and comments from our audience. And that's why we're here
Yeah.
is just to be real. And we are, yes, we're psychic. Yes, we have gifting, but we are still just everyday people.
Hmm.
We have wounding just like everybody does, and through the healing process, God, the gifts just grow, right? The gifts in everyday life and the spiritual and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, to listen to both of you for the last few years, um, the evolution of, even just your individual journeys, like we get to watch that as viewers, and that is very inspiring, at least for me,
Thank
right?
you.
You hear lots of different stories out there about how psychics have started, and it's always like, oh, they started when they were six, and they didn't have any choices, of how that kind of happened to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my journey has been so different from that. I mean, it's always been so intriguing to watch psychics and mediums and the paranormal readings and stuff, but I never considered myself as a part of that like world, or everyone really as a part of that world until
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago when I started watching your videos. And I admit I binge watched all of them probably within about a month or so. And I didn't even know what it felt like to have something resonate. Like resonating wasn't even in my vocabulary before
Mm.
watching. And it's just like, wait a minute, some things do just resonate with me. And like, that's what I have to listen to. So like, learning how to identify something resonating and learning how to be honest with myself are probably the two biggest game changers to kicking off that journey.
Being honest with ourselves is probably the, I'm going to say yes, the biggest
Yeah.
across the board for humanity.
Yep.
is being honest with ourselves about, oh my God, everything,
Everything.
everything.
The good, the bad, the ugly, especially the ugly,
Mm-hmm.
and really coming face to face with, your own behavior and owning it and be like, wow, this is why, this is where it came from. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not who I want to be, and that's great, right? And then you get to actually change that. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
not, so that whole process was not even in my reality, until we started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember what I came to have classes for. I just wanted to jump into psychic development.
Yes.
I was just like, no, I'm going to work on my skills. What kind of guides do I have? What can I do? And it's just like, all right, let's step back. You have a ton of healing. um, which wasn't what I wanted to hear. Obviously, that's not
No,
what my ego wanted to hear.
no, nobody does.
But yeah,
And so many people don't realize the level of the wounding that they carry with them on a daily basis.
yeah,
I didn't. And Pam and I have talked about this before, where our childhoods were so different.
right,
She had abuse. I didn't.
right,
So how am I going to say I've got wounding?
right, right.
But I
Well,
did.
comparison, right? That's the killer right there, is that
Yep.
comparison. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yep,
And wounding, it can be such an minuscule thing that creates this gaping wound.
yep,
It's
yep.
just crazy.
Yep.
And I I want to say I am so proud of you for hearing what I said and not just going, peace out. I don't want any part of it. I just want to develop. I don't want any of this other bullshit.
Yeah.
And
So the
you,
development side of me really just wanted to be a healer, right? And I really wanted to just dive in and take me off the bench and, like, let me start healing. But then when you explained to me that my healing wouldn't really be very effective unless I got all of this, garbage out of the way, I was just like, oh, well then I have to do that because I don't want to be a garbage healer. I want to do it right, right? So
mm-hmm,
that was easier to accept because that's the end game, is to be the best healer, that
mm-hmm.
so
And you know this, we're never healed.
right.
And at the same time, if we don't start that healing journey, how can we sit with someone and help them through their stuff if it's the same stuff we're not willing to look at?
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's such
Mm,
a, yeah, hypocrite.
yeah, what else do you say about that? There's not.
Nothing. I mean, you have to, and I want to. Now I want to, right? I'm almost addicted to getting triggered. Like,
I understand that. I do understand that because there
yeah,
comes that point, right?
yeah, where it's like I've done this a few times. I get it. Yes, I feel it in that moment. You really feel that emotion and you get triggered. But then a couple seconds afterward, you're like, I just got triggered. You're like, there's something for me to work on right now.
Uh-huh.
I kind of, it's kind of similar to getting a tattoo, which if no one can see on the videos, but I'm covered in those. But people are like, how can you sit in that chair for 6 or 8 hours and be in so much pain? And it's the moment it's done, it's worth it. Like, and it's
Mm-hmm.
worth the rest of your life. It's
Mm-hmm.
permanent, you know. So
I agree.
yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm. That 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 moment of triggering can be so multidimensional.
Yeah.
You're triggered and you realize it and you're like, ooh, okay, I'm triggered. What is this? Oop, can't look at it right now. I gotta deal with what I'm going through. I can look at this later. And
Yeah.
then there's the totally other end of it. You're triggered and you don't realize it
Yes.
until, oh my gosh, maybe days later,
Yeah.
and
I've
you're
been
looking,
whole weeks.
yeah.
At the end of the week, I've been triggered this entire week. And then I look back and I figure out why. And then it's like, okay, like I probably could have addressed that a little bit sooner, but that's a tough one. Really impacts your behavior, your relationships
Yeah.
in a very toxic way. I mean, it's a little bit more obvious for me now that I'm a mom. I can actually see myself like having certain thoughts about my kid and like, oh, she's trying to manipulate me and all this like grand back, in the back, and she's 4. Like she's not trying to manipulate, she's not trying to trigger, she doesn't have all these ulterior motives, this is all in me. And she's helped me, she's that nice little mirror for me to get in my own shit for sure. Yeah.
It's I don't have my own children, but through nieces and nephews, right? I have had that experience of, oh man, this kid is really trying to manipulate me. What's going on? This 6-year-old doesn't have the mental capacity to manipulate me in the way that I'm
Right.
thinking that she is. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Really does give us a beautiful opportunity to look in and, okay, what now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kids. And then the next moment they're off doing something else. And I'm sitting there going, All day she's been trying, no, she doesn't care. And she doesn't
Mm-mm.
care that.
No.
So I mean, it's nice. And I'm happy in that sense that, I mean, like I mentioned, she's 4, right? And so I started about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, um, which I know that you and Pam have mentioned around the age of 40 is about the time where we as humans should start to kind of
Mm-hmm.
start to heal like take it seriously,
Yeah.
So I kind of feel good that I had a bit of a head start and I did it early enough so that, my daughter doesn't have to grow through a lot of my trauma as well and have that affect her as
I
much.
right. I believe that's part of our goal as humans is to get to a point to where as our children are being raised, they don't have to be um, subject to our deepest traumas. I
Right.
mean, that's part of the deal, right? Is getting wounded and learning how to maneuver through it. And
Yeah.
yet some of this stuff that is put on our children, and I'm speaking very generally here because I don't have children, but some of these things have gone on for generations.
Yeah.
And let's just heal it. Let's put an end
Yeah.
to some of this.
Yeah. You got to break some of those cycles. And I
Hmm.
don't doubt that my parents broke some as well, right? And then, but I definitely got to break a few before she would be impacted. But she's gonna have her own trauma
Yep.
in her own right,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I'm not here to erase all of that. That's not what we're,
Nope.
she's gonna have to go back and do her own healing, which I'll be much more in the know of how to help her navigate that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, to have that knowledge before really kind of having a kid in that way, I think was a huge blessing for me in my life.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just in time, just I started just in time. Um, so yeah, no, I'm really, really thankful for that.
I'm happy for you because my real healing didn't start until no, damn near half century old.
Well, I mean, but what was your awareness of healing in general?
In the midst of my alcoholism, zero.
Right. Right. It's like
Zero.
you have almost zero awareness.
Yeah.
And once you become aware, like, oh, this is what we gotta do.
Yeah.
It's black and white, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And it's just when it when that realization hits you of the wounding and the healing possibilities,
Mhm.
it really can become addictive.
And I think that's an okay addiction, at least for now. You know,
Hmm.
I don't want to go looking for triggers. You know, you know,
Well, that brings up a good point, though. We can overdo it. We can get so immersed in healing and digging in and looking at our own stuff that we bypass life.
yep, I've been there.
I was going to ask, have you found that you've
Yes,
ever done that?
yeah, for sure. And it affected my relationships for the most part. I
Hmm.
became so focused on healing that I almost put myself on this weird pedestal so that other people around me who just weren't aware and weren't focused on this, I'm like, they, do they even deserve me? Like, and all the, I'm doing all this work and they're not doing this work. Are we not a match anymore? Like, what does this mean? And
Yes.
there's so much like that uncomfortable dynamic between someone who is really focused on healing and isn't, is also a lesson in itself, that
Hmm.
uncomfortableness. And so I really, for a while, I was obsessed with healing to the point where, I was worried about my relationships. And but then I calmed down and I was like, no, 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 this is also part this is also part of it. And the fact that, there was such a difference,
Hmm.
was just triggering in a whole different way.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I've been there. Sure. I've been there. Absolutely. Um, it affected my marriage.
Hmm.
Well, I'm going to say every relationship that I had was affected.
Yeah.
And there's this, ego got involved. And when you said, do they even deserve me? I remember thinking that. I just need to know these people are no good for me.
Right. There was, yeah.
And it's like this blaring stop.
Yeah.
Stop. What are you doing? There's a
Yeah.
very fine line between being an example of what healing can do
Yep.
and like taking that line and blocking everybody out.
Yeah.
To what
Like,
end? Isolation?
yeah. And that's what I was, like I was imagining this land where all only healed people will go to live, or some, like there's some magical place where I will have all relationships with healed people. And it's just not, that's not reality. And
It's
so like
not.
kind of come down off that pedestal and then just understand there's a point to each individual journey where they are in that and
Hmm.
why they need to be put together. Like, yes, I might be a little ahead of the game in that sense,
Hmm.
but that just helps others kind of see the possibility of going down that path as well. Me talking about it and inspiring others to kind of get on that, because that's what you guys did to me. If you guys did what I was thinking, then you would just be like off in the everyone's healed
Off in
island.
that pink cloud healed land.
You know, there's a purpose to everyone's level.
Hmm. I
You know,
agree. And haven't you found, or have you found, that with the different relationships at different points, they start to they start to step up. They start to raise their vibration and see things in a different way.
Yep.
They may not be able to energetically completely match you,
Right.
but they harmonize so much
Yep.
better.
Yep. And it oddly gives them permission
Mm-hmm.
to start to expand, right? And to think
Yes.
about, oh, what if I started working on that too? And if you're not exposed to that, you're not ever going to get there, right? So I can just be that exposure,
Right.
and then just kind of be the catalyst of all different types of healing for all
Mm-hmm.
different, where I just trigger people, and eventually that's for their own good anyway, so that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
As healers, that is part of our job, is to trigger people,
Right.
as uncomfortable as it can be,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
try not to fix it.
Yeah.
Because that's
It's
where I will trigger someone and then I want to fix it.
well, and
Mm.
that was actually part of my trauma. It was growing up. um I had always been somewhat of a mirror for my immediate family. And if they had a problem, like for instance, my mom had always had a weight problem. And if I had lost 5 pounds, I couldn't necessarily speak up about that because then she would feel bad about herself and her own journey. And so I would have learned to keep that hidden, right? And I started to kind of sense that with my own healing journey where I didn't necessarily want to talk about it because then it would kind of show other people that they hadn't started yet, that they had so much to. So to
Right.
be a mirror is very difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm learning how to be that and be proud of being that. But growing up, that kept me very small. Kept me not being proud of myself and my accomplishments.
Sure. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of healing to do around that.
Yeah.
And you have, I know you have
Yeah.
done so much healing around that.
There's so much more. There's so much more. But yes, I've definitely,
I hate to tell you, there always will be.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, with an onion, eventually you get to the middle. And
Hmm.
that's not the case with us humans. There are
Right.
some things that we actually do heal and we can let go and move on from. But those big ones, those are lifers.
Yeah.
And the different perspectives that we get to see on some of that wounding
Yeah.
is crazy,
Yeah.
really crazy.
They'll come at me from a different angle,
Hmm.
eventually. But it'll be easier to recognize, right? The more
Hmm.
you touch on that same subject over and over, you recognize it a little bit faster. It's a little bit easier, I think.
Hmm. I
So,
agree. And then every once in a while, you think, nope, that's not it. I've healed that.
yeah, yeah.
Total denial.
Being honest with yourself
Exactly.
is a very important part of this because, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you'll lie real quick.
It is so easy to lie to ourselves. I'm going to say just this morning, um, I kind of got a little ruffled feathers and it made no sense to me. And I'm like, nope, okay, put it away, put it away, put it away, put it away. And then all of a sudden, my main guide cowboy like hangs this sign in front of me that says judgment with a question mark. Judgment? Fuck, I'm judging.
Yeah,
I got no room to judge here.
yeah. That's also an easy one to just
Yeah.
so
And
fast. It happens so fast.
so fast.
Like you don't have a choice. You just judge
And, you know,
without.
I grew up in a very judgmental environment.
Mm.
I learned it so well.
Yeah.
And I I try so hard not to be judgmental. And And yet there it is,
Yeah.
blaring me in the face. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard.
So, another, and then I get to be grateful for, okay,
Right.
at least I didn't, I don't think I made a real shit show out of what I was judging.
Right.
And yet at the same time, internally, I did.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just a crazy, crazy thing.
Yeah, when I catch myself judging, there's always a piece there that is that reflection piece.
Hmm.
And of course, I always feel bad for judging the other person, but the root of that judgment,
But
that's all.
why? Why did I have to go to that judgment piece?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What am I trying to hide over here?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Uh-huh. Um, that is the root of where my judgment came from,
Mhm.
is my hiding,
Right.
my lack of interaction in areas,
Mhm.
my choosing to stay isolated from certain things in the world,
Yeah.
so I don't have to. I can just be in my own little pink cloud and not
Right.
worry about it. Just let the world go on with whatever the world's doing. Um, that's not necessarily a healthy thing.
No. No. I do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do.
And
That's
so,
great.
yeah. And so there's the basis for my judgment.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And what do we do with it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I,
It's you got to think about it and kind of really put yourself like, why are you pointing the finger at the other person?
right.
You know,
Because I don't have the courage.
distracting,
I don't have the courage to get in.
yeah.
I don't even to have an opinion. I don't have the courage to even have an opinion. Right there. Right there. There it is.
Yeah.
I don't have the courage to have an opinion, so I'm going to judge other people who do.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
could I go vomit right now?
just mute, please. That's fine. Just go off screen. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So thank you for that healing session, Marcy. Thank you.
Feel free to be my mirror as well. I don't really have much to hide. Which has excited me about starting these podcasts and getting on the channel more because I really am a very open and honest person, but I feel like I don't really get the opportunity to talk, right? So, I don't walk into a room and go, "Hey, I just did this and this and this and this." I don't like the spotlight, but at the same time, you ask me a question and I'm brutally honest.
Be prepared for the answer.
Yeah.
I love
Uh,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hope other people do too. 'Cause, yeah, I don't really have that filter. Even personally, my
Hmm.
husband will kind of roll his eyes sometimes, but I don't know. Like this is the truth. If you don't like it, okay. So
I think that's a wonderful place to be at in life, to be able to just be transparent.
yeah. I think
Hmm.
like 15 years of customer service has really kind of lower like I have zero tolerance for that fake that fake back and forth and okay, you're in the wrong, but I'm just gonna be like, okay, you're the customer, I'll kind of swallow that for you. And I've no, like I don't have any of that anymore. That's
Hmm.
eaten out of me.
Uh, yeah, I get
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's that sentiment. Um, it belongs in certain places, but it's not an across the board type of way to live. It
No,
absolutely isn't.
no.
Um,
That's
it
that's so much energy. Like it's so much energy to like shroud what you really want to like shroud the honesty. Like it's just so much more energy than just
and
being
don't you
honest.
think that that relieves people of their personal responsibility?
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
For sure.
We need more personal
My own energy,
responsibility.
it's like I like take that on for them, and that's not a good energetic habit.
No, it's not. It's none of our business really
Right.
to be accountable or responsible for somebody else's
Right.
behavior. Goes right back to the ownership that Pam and I have talked so much about lately.
Yep.
Um, when we can really take that ownership and we are accountable and responsible for ourselves and leave other people to figure out how to do the same for them.
Yeah. It's so rare really to see that. And I wonder why. I mean, to me, it just feels so much easier to just be that honest, take that accountability. Okay, I made a mistake. It wasn't your fault. Instead of sitting there arguing with someone for an hour trying to convince them it was their fault. Like,
Right.
like where,
Why?
where
Why?
I don't get it. Like I just don't. I maybe winning at the end. It's some sort of ego win, but energetically it's just exhausting.
It is. It really is. And is it really a win if the ego gets inflated because of that? It might feel like a win, but it really isn't
Right.
because it's going to take that much more time to chip away at all of those layers of false wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
They know deep down, that that's just not what's right and not what's real, but
Hmm.
it's just easier to keep putting layer after layer after layer on and fight until the end and, drag them down and
Oh man, I'm exhausted just listening to
no,
that
I mean too. I'm just like, how
because
do
I've been
people
there.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was I was that person at one point in my life where I fought absolutely everything.
Oof.
Hmm.
Well, I guess that's one of our choices, right? We get to
Hmm.
choose whether we
You know, and
dwell
I guess in a way, well, it was my choice. That is one of the things I came in to learn was how to surrender
right.
my ego, how to
Yeah.
surrender to reality, to the energy of love,
Hmm.
to spirit, to my own common sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
I feel like that's the majority of a lot of humanity's lessons when they come here. Just seems like across the board something that most humans have a problem doing, is being that kind of having that honesty with themselves in the immediate situation. Like, oh, okay, this is, accountability, ownership. That's like almost impossible to find. They will fight to the death to not own to not
Right.
something,
And they're either, so are they too far in the past or are they too far in the future? It almost feels like they're still living in the past trying to make up for something.
it feels very survival to me, right? It's just
Hmm.
as soon as that challenge kind of presents itself, it's that survival until the end. Like it's almost, they kind of perceive ownership as like giving up or losing, and it's just,
Yeah. And it's
it's
the ultimate win.
yeah, it's the ultimate
It
win.
really is the ultimate win
Yeah,
to be in that place of, well, of ownership and to be present.
yeah,
So many people just aren't present. And I think you just said that a few
yeah.
minutes ago. We aren't, as a society, living in the here and now.
No, no, I know. Yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of it feels very past to me. Like it's just like future almost, I don't think a lot of people consider the future, their future selves very often, you know. Because if we did, healing would
Oh,
gotta be easier.
now that's very interesting. So when I said future, I was thinking 3D future. You said future selves.
Yeah.
I love that. I think
Mhm.
maybe we do need to start considering our future selves a little more.
Yeah.
How am I today and how is that going to translate into my future self? Ooh.
Right.
Ooh.
And it just makes your thoughts, your actions a little bit more intentional, right? You get less distracted, hopefully. Um, kind of gives you a target to aim
Right.
for, you know.
I don't think I ever think about, when I'm planning the future, thinking about what might be in, 5 or 10 years, I don't think I consider who am I going to be at that time
You just imagine yourself as you are
as
now.
I am right now
Right.
in that time. And that's, well, that's, oh God, I hope that's not the case. I would hate to
No, it's not. We know it's not
stagnate.
because
We can't.
you're not the same person as you were 5 years ago.
No, not
That
at
ain't
all.
right.
Um, in fact, I'm not the same person that I was 5 hours ago.
Right. Right. Depending on your
Especially with that judgment clarity. Thank you very much, Spirit. Um, thank you for saying that.
yeah,
That our future selves, if
very different. I'm very different,
yeah,
and I want to be different, you know, in the best ways,
in the
not not
exactly.
myself, right? I'm not judging myself now, but to see what's possible in 3 years, I can't wait to see what's possible in 5.
Yeah. And we have to be present
Mhm.
and doing the very best next step that we can do in order to reach that possibility in the future. That's a brilliant, brilliant way to think of that.
I heard someone talk about discipline in that way, and I really liked what he had said. I wish I knew his name. Um, but he was talking about discipline as a skill, and discipline isn't, everyone's like, oh, I need to work on being more disciplined, right? I need to work on my discipline. And it isn't a skill. It's just, acting in the best interest of your future self. That's it. It's not necessarily a skill that you have to work on.
I need to write that down.
And when he said that, I was like, oh, that's that, it's doing something for your future self. It's not,
So
it's not,
acting in the best interest.
mhm. Working out,
Yeah.
drinking more water, all of those things that you feel like, oh, I just need more discipline for that. And it's like, no, you just need to consider, do it for your future self and not sit there and beat yourself up that you lack some sort of skill because that's not necessarily what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
Myself, oh, I'm so bad at discipline and I need to work on that. And no, I don't. I just need to be be more mindful of that future self and act in that way, behave in that way.
Right. And that you're it doesn't take skill. It just takes doing.
Just takes that mindfulness, that
Yeah.
awareness, you know,
Yeah.
is a future self and you want her to be better.
So, discipline isn't a skill, it's an awareness.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, thank you to whomever it was that
Yes, we should really go back and we could tag him or give him some sort of credit. It was an interview. I forget who it was, but yeah, that
if
really that
yeah,
resonates instantly.
if this is familiar to any of you that are listening or watching, and you know who this is, let us know. You can put it in the comments if you're on YouTube. And if you are audio only, you can text the show.
Yes.
We don't get your phone number. We don't know who you are. We can't reply, but you can still message it to us.
Yeah.
So
Thank
that would
you.
be good.
I
Yeah.
don't want to take credit for that. It wasn't me. And he had said many other things that were great as well, really on point. But that was really my biggest takeaway from what he was talking about.
Yeah. Wow. Love that.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Taking our future selves into more consideration.
Hmm. And
Hmm.
then you just kind of start behaving better, or well, I'm not gonna say better or worse, but differently, right? To start benefiting that future self, drinking more water, exercising more, doing your writing, meditation,
Hmm.
all of that stuff isn't, it is for you in the now, but it's more so for you later, right? So,
Yes.
mhm.
Yeah. Puts a whole new spin on planning the future.
Yeah, see, I don't find myself doing that much.
I used to, I mean, way back, I would plan the future that would allow me to stay out of today, out of the moment.
Oh, so more like a bypass of
Yeah,
just,
absolutely, as a bypass. And
yeah,
then once I got sober, I couldn't because I had to be right now.
yeah,
If I thought about the future, I could find myself at the liquor store, not even think about it, right?
right.
Just go on remote.
Mhm.
So I was very stringent on if it's not in this week, don't talk to me about it. I couldn't go there. And it took me a long time to change that mindset. Now I'm starting to open myself up to looking at the future,
Yeah.
um, mainly because my husband's looking to retire, like fully retire. He retired one career and
Okay.
now he's in his second career, but he's looking to like full on retire within the next 3 to 5 years, probably.
I-
And so we are starting to look at, well, what are we going to do? We don't want to just sit here and grow old and die in front of the TV.
Right. Right.
And it's really scary for
Yeah.
me to start looking at that. This is really going to help me expand into looking at that, where I can think about, well, gosh, how do I want to be, and how do I want to feel, and how do I want to be in my body
Yeah.
when that time comes,
Right.
and start being prepared for what we want.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's beautiful. I think it also takes a lot of safety. Like safety is what comes to mind for me. Like, not that I'm necessarily don't feel safe in my body, but I mean, we all know that life can change so fast, so
Mm-hmm.
unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I moved around a lot. Um, I used to live in Las Vegas for 15 years, and in those 15 years, I moved 13 times.
Woo!
And it was,
That's a lot.
I didn't buy a lot of furniture. I didn't have a lot of stuff. And I kind of just got used to not necessarily day to day, but like you mentioned, like going past a week or two, um, just didn't feel kind of worth it. Like things could change between now and then. I could feel like I don't want to do that. And I wanted that freedom kind of not making those commitments.
Sure.
But I didn't feel safe to commit at that point. But now, I mean, with a kid, right, you obviously have you have a kind of a responsibility to plan out a little bit further.
Sure.
But I also feel safer now in my life to plan out. Not like a year ahead, but a few months ahead. I'm looking a few months ahead now. So that's very different. Never thought about that.
Yeah. And that's great to be able to look forward, even a little bit.
Yeah. And it's weird though, because I used to be looking for every which way I could control. And I'm surprised that I wasn't trying to control that more before.
Okay.
Ah. Yeah, that's really surprising because if there was an opportunity for me to control something, man, I took it. And
Did
now,
maybe the control came out in a different way?
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Uh,
Or maybe that was also in its own way a sense of
it's
control,
right.
right?
Right.
Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
no, I kind of like, I definitely, it's that safety part of, making that plan for 3 months ahead. Like there's value to that. That's actually helpful for myself and my family and not, there's no risk, right, of it
Right.
not coming,
Right.
not happening.
Oh,
So, which probably in itself is a trauma, I'm guessing, right? Um, Something was like taken
sh-
away, without me knowing,
sure.
I kind of learned to not plan ahead, right? So that I wouldn't be disappointed if something didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Hmm. That just had me thinking about my own, what was it for me that I couldn't plan? I mean, clearly, the one day at a time, the not drinking and having it
Sure.
pushed into my head. And yet, if I plan too far ahead in the future, I'm going to mess it up.
Oh, so you
I'm
interpret
I'm going to
that.
mess it up. I'm going to do something that's going to mess up something.
Yeah, mine was
Yeah.
like someone's gonna take that away from me. Someone's gonna flake out or something like that. But you yourself, you're like,
I'm going to be the one to sabotage it.
ugh.
Yeah. And neither one is a good place to be.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, they're both in
They're
their own
both
traumas.
very very traumatizing.
You still feel that? Do you still get that sense now?
Um I can see I can see where that comes up. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Well, that's something to listen to.
Definitely something to listen to. There is some well, and that comes down to ego.
Mm,
I know best. It has to be my way, the black and white thinking.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
That
I have
makes-
done so much work on all of those areas. Um, and I will say, through 40 years of marriage, my husband has very happily just sat back and allowed me to do whatever.
Well, that's also a man thing, I think. They're so simple.
So simple.
Um, they really don't want to have anything to do with 80% of us. I'm thankful for, right? Desperately thankful for. But yeah, I mean, I've changed so much in just the 3 years. And,
Mm-hmm.
my husband's also doing the work for himself as well, but I'm a completely different person than who he married.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And I find myself going, are you still in? Because you didn't actually sign up for this person now. Like, but it doesn't even make a difference. Like, it doesn't make any difference for him. He would have stayed married to me if I stayed the same or if I had changed.
My husband as well. I
Yeah.
mean, and he's proven that. And he will still thank me,
Yeah.
especially for the ending of the drinking. Um, who knows? He would have probably stayed with me through wherever that took us.
Yeah.
Um, but he does. He does thank me for all the work I've done.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Kudos to
So
him.
even as simple as he is, and he is, and I don't know why sometimes I try to make him be more complicated than he is, and he's not. He's just
Well,
not.
I mean, I think it would make us feel a little bit better about ourselves and our own craziness if at some point they also got a little crazy,
I
right?
think
Like,
you're right. Yeah.
can you have like a trauma breakdown once in your life? That would be nice, but no, I
No,
mean, he gets to go through his journey just,
just however it is that he goes through it. Yeah. Yeah. We are so very, very different. Uh,
yeah,
in every way. We
yeah,
really are.
yeah. But
Yeah.
we're also eerily similar in so
Very
many,
similar. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. The
Yeah.
dynamic. Yeah, I mean it's the balance, right? The balance of two.
Yes.
Hard to have too crazy, you know. And that's
Yeah.
also going back to when I thought, oh, I'm getting so focused on my healing that I need someone else who's just as equally focused. And no, I don't. I don't
Oof.
need that, nor would that have probably helped my own journey. Like there
I
needs to be that balance. He needs to be that simple rock for me to just
yes.
hold to and to ground me. I mean, I'm an air sign. I'm off, right? And he can't be that with me.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I thought for a little while, like, I need someone like that. No.
Mm-hmm. My husband is an air sign. I'm water.
Okay.
Um, and I never thought about this before, but there's so many times throughout our journey that he's wife, breathe.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah,
That air for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he really is in so many ways. What is that song? The wind beneath my wings.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And with me, I feel like I'm the balloon that's trying to float off, and he's just the rock
He's
that is
he's
trying
that
to
anchor for you.
he's that anchor. So I could still kind of fly, but I stay low to the ground.
Yeah.
If he ever detached, I would just be in space. But
Yeah, I'd be down at the bottom of the ocean.
yeah, if it wasn't for me, he would just be standing still, right? So there's that dynamic between both
Hmm.
um that I think we both need.
Hmm. Yeah, I think for us, I think we are a good mix of that air and water uh, combination. I don't know what I do for him, but
Well,
I carry all of the emotional baggage for him. Well, not his. I've finally learned.
Oh,
You know,
he can keep
you
his
have
own.
your own. I don't need to carry that, but yeah.
Right. Well, you might help kind of dilute it, right? For
Sure.
him. Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
asked him what you do for him, you probably wouldn't get the kind of answer you're looking for.
No.
Well, my laundry was done, like you get very simple, the simple
Yes, and he is a man of very simple needs, and his expectations are minimal.
yeah.
That's what I do. I carry all the expectation for both of us.
There we go. But see again, that dynamic without you, he's kind of standing still quite,
Yes. Yeah.
he wouldn't probably experience as much adventure, you know,
I
all of-
do push him out of his comfort zone often.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's a good thing.
And now you're doing the disc golf and
Oh my
stuff now.
gosh. Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, are you now comfortable with that? Or like are you head to head? Are you competitive with each other or is it more of a team effort?
So, because of our strength and I mean, men and women are not equal. There is no way that I will ever be able to throw
Yeah,
consistently
right.
as far, but
Mhm.
there are times where I'll have a good shot and he won't, and I have to admit, oh yeah, it feeds my ego hugely. But to be able to watch both of us improve, and just how our dynamic together is when we're playing around, um, it's really helped to bring us closer together.
That's good.
That fun factor um, is really starting to take hold. He's not overly competitive.
Okay.
I am.
Yeah.
And I can really allow a lousy shot to take me down.
Mm,
And I'm learning it's
yeah.
part of the game. It's we can't be perfect. And then we watch it. We watch the professionals, and you see a professional throw something that's just like, oh my god, they are human. It's a human thing. It's a game. It's
Yeah. Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's teaching me a lot. It really is.
That's good.
So,
Does it I feel like it might because I'm a competitive person by nature, and so is my husband. So we get to have some fun, some fun games together. But if he hadn't been or wasn't competitive, I feel like that would trigger me, because it's like, don't like, like, you
I
know,
understand. I think I understand what you're saying, because there are times where it almost feels like you're just not even trying, so
right,
I feel better.
right.
And that doesn't.
I want us both
Oh.
wanting to win.
Yes.
Of course, have fun and learn, but like I want us both wanting to win regardless of how the other one is doing or feeling, right? Because
Hmm.
that's almost like to me like part of it, part of the fun.
So one of the biggest difference between us is, if I get a new disc, I want to go to the park and just throw it. I want to figure it out. So when I actually go to the course, I can play with it. Oh
Hmm.
no, he'll just take the new disc, he'll go on the course, and he'll figure it out as he's playing.
Yeah,
That's like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. It's like, oh,
yeah,
and it's fine,
yeah.
um, but not the way I want to do it.
Right. Yeah, I think it would be like you kind of, yeah, you want to like prepare, you want to learn it, you want to feel
Yep.
it, and when the game is
And
on,
then when the game's on, the game is on.
he's just like, it's a game,
Yep. Just throwing frisbees.
I want frisbees.
Just throwing frisbees.
Oh,
It's
I
all
want to like
good.
strangle him for you. Come on.
And at the same time, it's really teaching me a new perspective on patience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And allowing him to do it the way he needs and wants to do it.
Yeah, you
Because,
don't take his fun away,
whoo,
really.
exactly.
And if that's his fun, that's his fun.
Yep.
It's But yeah, man, that would
Yeah.
be
And
hard for
he
me.
doesn't really enjoy going down to the park and doing the practice throws. I do. So it's fine. I can go down there. I go down there by myself and just spend a couple of hours if
Do you
if
get
my
to
arm
meet,
will allow it.
do you get to meet other people while playing that? Is that at all a social kind of
So, yes, and we haven't. There is, however, a league that I might join this spring.
league?
Mm-hmm. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
There's a couple of old ladies my age
Yeah.
that play all different skill levels, I've heard. So yeah, I might do that this spring.
I've done some bowling leagues, which I'm not super great, right? But I do try to win. I try to get better. It's not like, oh, gutter, like it's just
Yeah.
fun. No, and it's just random public league, people get together, I think like once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that was fun.
yeah, I think that's what this is. It's just, a group of women. They've created a Facebook group, and that's how I was introduced to it.
Okay.
And yeah, there's I don't know what their actual um, season is. I want to say it's like maybe March through August.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be a
and
good one.
they get together once a week and play the same two courses.
Now,
Um,
I know courses, I know we don't have to talk about disc golf the whole time, but because my husband does kind of play sometimes, not since we moved, but when we were in Vegas, he would get together with his friends
okay.
and
Yeah.
disc golf. And as we were traveling across the country, he would see signs for like, oh, disc golf course, like let's go check it out. And there would be like a net like across the river, over a cliff, like there's so much in between. And we're like in the middle of the mountains. And I'm like, is this just like a trap for bears or something? Like you're gonna go, it's not even polished or tailored, nothing. You're just out in the wilderness and you have to like find some random basket to throw it at. It's just they seem so randomly placed and so dangerous, I don't know. Like there's some that are in like the nice parks and
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
grass is mowed and you can kind of see the path, but then there's just some out in the middle of nowhere that
Some out in the middle of nowhere. So there actually is an app.
oh, of
I don't, I seriously doubt that it has every course in the world on it.
right.
But it does have, oh my gosh, it's got so many courses on it. And it shows you the map. You can keep score on it.
Oh,
And then
oh,
it shows you in the map, it shows you where your next hole is, where the basket is, gives you all the information.
so is that part of the traveling retirement plan
It is.
to hit some of
It
those? Okay.
is. Yeah. Yeah. And we did a road trip last September
Yeah.
where we went actually to Nevada. We went to the camel races in Virginia City and we disc golfed on the way. We disc golfed on the way back. There were a couple of courses. There is no way we could have found all of the tee pads and the baskets without this app. There's just no way.
Right. They're hidden. It's like you
Yes.
know, like even for a little while we were doing the geocaching, right?
Yes, we've done that.
Yeah, yeah, and that was super fun. We were in it for a few months, and
Yeah.
but even then, you're getting sent out to the
Out in
most
the middle of frickin'
random
no.
locations and like weird clues on how to find it. And I'm pretty sure we were trespassing like half the time.
Sure.
And it's like, it's kind of you got an adrenaline rush, I guess, trying,
Yeah.
trying to get there. But yeah, that seems crazy, but that's also exciting.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That
have
was a
that.
lot of fun. We did that for a couple of years back way back when it started.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I still go.
It's changed a lot
Yeah.
now. We haven't done it in a very long time, but
Yeah, no, we haven't done it in a few years, but
yeah. But
we're
it was a
good at
lot of fun.
8 months. We were all over Vegas, finding them, and then when we traveled, we would try to find a few.
Yeah.
But then some of them are in like just weird off the road, no path, like
It's like,
spot.
are you
And
kidding me?
yeah, like you're really just asking for trouble, putting him in these locations.
Yeah,
So I
I
don't know.
agree.
I'm sure the cops hated that because
Probably. I'm
probably,
sure they got trespassing calls a lot.
oh no, there's a little figurine in the hole in the tree. We gotta find it. And it's like, get off my property. Like, what are
Right?
you
Yeah.
serious? It's so crazy for ourselves.
Oh.
Probably all over the world. I'd imagine it's all over the world. I don't know if it's a US only thing.
Geocaching?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
probably worldwide.
Probably. Oh, that's even worse.
It
Yeah.
probably is worldwide. Yeah.
Mhm.
I know disc golf is. It's
Oh, is it?
all over the world. Yep. Yep. All over the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, no, this was a great chat. Thank you. I was so nervous doing having my debut. Uh, this was a lot of fun for
It was a
sure.
lot of fun. A lot of fun. Um, so everybody, please welcome Marcy. Um, you will see her on this channel. I'm sure every once in a while you will see her on the paranormal channel every once in a while. Um, not sure if you'll see her on the website in the immediate future, but you never know. But the website is tcseverydayspsychics.com. So, pop in every now and again. And
Yeah, feel free to leave me a comment as well. I will reply.
yeah,
I will do that. So
yeah.
forward to hearing.
Any parting words, Marcy?
Be honest with yourself. It's really, if you're interested in a healing journey, which I'm assuming most of these viewers are interested in healing journeys,
I would hope.
to me that was the biggest hurdle. And after that, it's downhill in a lot of ways. Not every way, but honest with yourself is number one.
I
So
agree. I
like,
agree. Really, really important in
mhm,
every aspect.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. This was a lot of fun.
yeah.
And thank you, everybody. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave us your comments.
Please.
All right. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yep.